Ladies and gentlemen, let me crack my beer open and say to you, welcome to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I'm a dumb dad.
And my name is Evan, and I'm a dumb dad.
The musical episode.
Mm-hmm. And start singing now.
Nope.
Oh,
just cheers.
shoot, the music turned off. We're just going to have to talk it out. Now talk it out.
Cheers, dummy.
Cheers, dummy.
Here's what we're drinking today. We're drinking Mama's Little Yellow Pills from Oscar Blues Brewery. It's a Bohemian Pilsner. I like Oscar Blues. They're famous for Dale's Pale Ale. In case anybody doesn't know it, I'm sure you've heard of Dale's Pale Ale.
I love Dale's
Pale Ales. It is a Colorado brewery.
Colorado Brewing Company.
No. It's a brewery in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Oscar Blues is the brewery.
Is the brewery. Whoa, I
And
don't want to
they're
mess
good.
that up.
Their beers are good. If you see a variety pack Oscar, go for it because they're all good. The Pilsner's good. Pale Ale's good.
It's good. Do we cheers?
What I just said.
We're going to do it again.
Cheers.
Okay, we already. I just said that. It's good. Thank you very much for supplying these, Kev, and thank you to Oscar for making them so that we can drink them. How about that? Hey, pal, how are you?
I'm good.
It feels like it's been a minute. Does it not? I don't know for what.
You left.
I left.
You
yeah.
left the county.
I left the county for a couple days.
Evan went to Vegas.
I did.
And I just want everybody to know I parented the whole time. And Evan, guess what he didn't do? He didn't parent.
No, that's not true. I parented by the wayside. I left all my rules and regulations.
Listen, everybody deserves
with
a
my
break.
wife.
I just want to remind everyone that Evan's wife works a full-time job, and that Evan had to go on a vacation.
Oh man, it's tighter under this bus than I thought it would be. I did. I went to Vegas for a couple days. It's been a tradition with some friends of mine for like 13 years, 12 years. I think we've done it.
I don't know.
We didn't do it last year.
Never
You're
invited.
not. And you will continue to not
don't
be
look
with
at
that
me.
attitude.
Don't look at me with the numbers. How long have we been going? Don't know.
A couple of my buddies asked me, like, is it weird that I feel like weird seeing your face and not Kevin's face? Because I see you guys together. Every time I see your face, like the next face I see is Kevin. So I feel like he should be popping out behind you any second. Which is fun because you've never met a bunch of those guys.
Most of them.
Yeah, you'd fit in really easily. It's just a bunch of guys making fun of each other for 2 days. So you'd fit right in. But yeah, I did go away for a couple days. It's been a tradition for a long time. We didn't do it last year, obviously, not being able to go anywhere. And this year was touch and go for so long until, the flight and hotel have been paid for like 2 years. We just keep pushing it and pushing it. We thought, we're just going to try it. We're going to go for it. It was nice to see some close friends of mine that I haven't seen in a couple of years. You know how it's been.
Yeah.
But, boy, let me tell you, it was harder than I thought leaving the kiddos. It's gone for like 2.5 days, right? Not that long.
Sure.
But certainly longer than I've almost ever been away from them as two little kids.
Oh, sure. Yeah, with the
and
COVID and
especially
everything.
with COVID and the pandemic and everything. Yeah. And so went with a buddy of mine that lives close, and everybody else kind of lives out of state, so we meet up in Vegas. But a buddy of mine drove over to our house, and my wife and our two kids drove us to the airport. And my son, who's 6, he and I was crammed in the back between the two car seats.
Mm-hmm.
As
you deserve.
As I deserved.
Look at their faces before you leave them.
And I really didn't anticipate that as much. I thought, I'm going to miss them, it'll be a good release. It'll be a good, just to get away for a couple of days, see some people I haven't seen in a long time. And it just kind of felt like a mental break that I'm sure a lot of people have desired over the last couple of years. But what I didn't really prepare for was getting to the airport, and then my son's like holding my arm and like resting his head on my shoulder the whole time. He was really going to miss me. He understood, like, I'm going to go away for a couple of days. And so I felt bad about that. I just kind of I guess I just didn't really anticipate the reverse effect of that, of like how much I'm going to miss them. I was honestly just a little bit concerned. Like, I got to make sure I'm safe and I'm, following all the protocols, even though I'm going to potentially be around people. And so I was probably halfway excited and nervous at the same time, to be totally honest. I kind of felt like when I'm around my friends again, if we're just in the hotel room, it'll probably be okay. I'll feel comfortable and I'll just miss them and it'll be good.
Yeah.
But a little bit nervous going for it.
How much of the car ride with your son holding your arm was him? Now, in the moment, not great. probably felt bad. He's holding on to you.
Yeah.
He's sad you're leaving.
Yeah.
That moment's gone. That was like almost a week ago. Now that we're outside of it, how much do you think he was dairy farming? How much was he milking it? I say this. I say this knowing all kids like make have an emotional choice that they genuinely feel, and I think if once they get a reaction from you, whether good or bad, whether they like you're mad at them because they're being stubborn, then they get more stubborn. If they like you being happy, they get more happy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give a little bit of an update on my son, how he's been emotionally lately. But
Sure.
I will say this: I told him.
I know
like
my daughter does that. Is my point.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
she'll see that and go, "Oh, this is getting a reaction."
Yeah. Oh, I can push the button further down.
I'm gonna miss you so much. I think I'll
No,
get a tattoo.
I don't think he was doing it to like force the issue towards me. And I say that because the day before I told him, I was like, "Hey, just so you know, I don't know if you're aware of this. We might have told you, but tomorrow I'm going to go away for a couple days. I'm going to go spend some time with some friends of mine. I'll be back in a couple days." And like he didn't handle that well, even in the car right away or home from school, because he just realized like, so you're not going to be here this weekend? Like it just hit him all at once.
Yeah.
And he kind of teared up then and was just not really about it then. But I was like, I reminded him, you're going to be here with mommy, you know, you're going to get to see Kevin and their kids, you know, and so they were coming over here to hang out. And so I was like, you know, before you know it, it'll be over. But he was just like, but you're going to be gone. Like he really felt that. And so I really feel like on the way there, he was just holding on to the last few moments he had before I was going to go away for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. And so I felt bad for that. And my daughter, who's 3, was whatever. She didn't really know. I think I told her, you know, I was like, we're going to go to the airport. I got to go.
Not wait. Get on that plane. Is it a one-way? Please tell me it's a one-way,
yeah.
Dad.
Let me tell you something.
Good Lord.
We got to the airport, and my son is just feeling it. And the closer we got, the tighter he's squeezing me. And so I felt bad. And then all of a sudden, it was like it dawned on my daughter that I was leaving the car and like no one else was going. And she's just going, I want to go with Daddy. I want to go with Daddy. I want to go with you. And like just the heavy tears coming down her face.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this trip away didn't feel so great.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
it
in
was
the
like,
back seat too, getting your sleeves wet.
Man, and probably beneficial to me that one of my buddies was flying with me. We were on the same flight and stuff, so we're headed to we're headed to like departures and like ticketing our bags and stuff. And I mean, I'm just like tearing up the whole way into the airport. I keep turning around and looking, just maybe one last little wave, and I'm just tearing up all the way to ticketing our bags, and here I am, just like
before you go to Las Vegas with a bunch of men.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I mean, it couldn't be more the opposite of what you would maybe typically think how a guy would feel like leaving his family, getting to escape for a couple of days. But that's really not what it's like when we go. We first started going for March Madness and betting on the basketball games.
Now you go for the strippers.
Now we go for the strippers. And let me tell you, this not great with the masks, but no. We go so we switched it up and started going for football because Vegas figured out, everyone wants to go to Vegas and bet on basketball. And so they started charging you to even watch the games. After you put money on the games, they're like, great, we have this great amphitheater. We're showing all the screens on like 8 basketball games at once.
Sure.
It's $50 to watch them. And you're like, I just spent more than $50 betting on the games, and now So we pivoted to football, which has been fun. There's really nothing like the opening weekend of the March Madness tournament where you have like 100 games in 2 days.
Right.
But really that's what we go for. We go and like spend all day watching games, and by that time you're tired, and we're all dads. And so even this year now they have NFL games in London. So half of us, because we're dads, we're like, well, Sunday morning, typically on the West Coast, the first round of games is on at 10 a.m.
Right.
Well, on the West Coast, the first game was on at like 6:30 in the morning. But half of us are dads, and we're all about going to watch football and bet on football and have a fun time doing that. So half of us were like, "Oh yeah, I'll be up." So
you guys got up at 6:30 to watch.
Oh yeah,
football?
We got up at 6:30, went and got our coffee, and met down at the sports book, which was sparse, to say the least. And we were all there with our coffee, watching the first game at 6:30, and it was a great time. And we're not the stereotypical guys or dads you think in Vegas. We're like all about getting to bet on the games and have fun watching and rooting for your and it's such a fun sporting interest to bet on a game that you would never otherwise watch.
Right.
Two teams that you don't care about. Next thing you know, whether you got $10,
it matters.
It matters, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. It was fun to escape for a couple of days. Once I was there and able to relax a little bit, knowing that everyone was being safe, and we just kind of stayed in our own little pod for the most part. It was fun, but man, it was tough. It was much harder than I thought leaving the kids. Even as an adult, knowing I could use this mental break and just be with some friends, still, I mean, it was really hard. And I think it's just probably because the pod and tightness we've shared over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Or I say a couple of years, but I mean, it's felt like 10 years in the pandemic, but it's really been a bond that we've established as a family and not gone anywhere, that all of a sudden I was going to leave.
You broke it.
Yeah,
you broke the bond.
I broke the trust. And I haven't been allowed back home since.
It's crazy. It's crazy to know your son won't trust you now.
Yeah.
We'll see how this develops.
Anyway, it was fun. It was great. And I had a great time understanding. It was fun have some time with my friends that I haven't seen in a couple years. And, but I couldn't wait to get home. Honestly, I couldn't wait to get home and just see the kiddos again and be back with them. So it was fun. But anyway, I will give a quick update with my son who has been quite emotional lately and feeling the anxiety of going to school and being separated from parents and everything. And we got we got wonderful emails and DMs on Instagram about the story
really
I
nice,
shared.
the stuff people sent in.
It was really nice because people were sharing.
For people who don't know, your son is suffering from some anxiety.
Yeah,
lately.
suffering some anxiety, and I think it's just compiled with like how it's gone the last year with not being able to go anywhere, wearing masks, people getting sick. He really feels all that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go away, and he's struggling with us being at home while he's at school, and he's just been like really. His anxiety has like physically built itself into him not feeling well before school and all these things, and we did get a chance to have him chat with somebody, and we're working on that moving forward with him. Anxiety definitely runs in my family, and so it's been early signs of that, of him showing signs of that as a kid. And I think kids show signs of anxiety. They don't want to be away from their parents and things, but it's physically manifested itself in him that he brings himself to the way he's feeling sick to his stomach, and then he worries about that. Well, what if I throw up at school? And like it just kind of, when you suffer from anxiety, it's like it's just like a never-ending like I can't get out of this, And so, anyway, it was just really nice to receive some messages from people that whether they're kids, they noticed it in their kids and dealing with anxiety in their children, or we got a couple messages from people that going, hey, I didn't even have anxiety diagnosed in me until I was like 30. Even though I felt all those same feelings that I was talking about with my son.
And you didn't get diagnosed until you were in your 20s.
Yeah, not until like my late 20s, early 30s, really. Yeah. Knowing that it ran in my family, but at the same time, like, never really showed signs of it, and didn't learn until then that
it wasn't
you
a
can
thing when you were, wasn't
it wasn't really talked about when we were
kids.
So
it's not like you knew it ran in your family. It was just like,
well, not until later, no.
Dad gets weird sometimes.
Yeah. But we, it really was kind of a thing like, the people that message us were going, I felt those same feelings when I was a kid, and no one diagnosed it until later on in life, and then realizing, I felt like this my whole life. And so now it's manageable now that you can, once you identify it, and then you can figure out how to live with it and essentially focus on what needs to be focused on to work on it, which we feel blessed in a way that we can recognize some of those tendencies in my son who's 6, and doesn't necessarily mean, he's got it and will always have it. I mean, if you have it in your family, it can show its head at 30. I didn't really show too many signs until I was in my late 20s. But if you have it, you have it. And so the smallest thing can trigger it, and then there you go. But anyway,
your dad leaving.
Like your dad leaving for Vegas, almost unannounced.
In the middle of a pandemic. Yeah, no, they could definitely can set a kid off, for sure.
Again, man, it is tight quarters here under this bus. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to say, like, it was really appreciated some of the messages, because I think people feeling, kind of the same thing with our parenting stuff we talk about on our social media accounts and through this podcast. Once you feel seen, whether you're a parent or whatever it is, as soon as somebody says something that makes you feel seen, it's like a weight lifted off your shoulders, I feel like. You know, when somebody just explains what they're going through, feeling like it's a specific thing for them, but you go, I know how that feels.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's such a huge thing. So anyway, shout out to the dummies out there that are
thank
just
you. Thank you
in
for
support
sending
of
in those
us.
stories and stuff.
Speaking of dummies, did you do anything stupid like leaving your family, or
no,
or you had a great week?
No. Every time, it's
you just wore a cape the whole week.
There's been a couple times I've told my wife, I think I'm gonna go away this weekend, and she's like, very curt and like, sure, okay, yeah, you can go. And it's so weird. It's like this weird accent where the tires always are flat. The next morning, it's like, what luck? That's a lie. My wife is delightful, but no, I haven't. I haven't left my family in the pandemic. So,
and I will say this though. And that's fair. That's totally fair. But I will say this, and maybe this is just something I was really trying to hold on to. But at some point, we're going to come out of this, right? And then one of us or somebody in the family is going to be the one person, like, to separate yourself for a little bit.
Right.
And it's going to happen because
no, of course,
that's what
that's
happened.
healthy. That is healthy.
It's
You
healthy.
do need
Yeah.
separation. Of course you do.
That's my point. It's healthy, I think it probably felt.
We've all seen Blast from the Past, where Brendan Fraser was stuck in that time capsule because they thought the bombs dropped, and he was socially awkward.
But I guess the point is like it's going to happen eventually, right? Whether it's your wife or you or you leaving the kids or something, it's going to happen eventually.
Right.
It may have felt, oh, here we are, I guess, and this is going to be the first one, and I'm going to be the first one, and that felt a little jarring in a sense that I was excited, and that explains where the nerves came from. I was a little bit nervous to.
Sure.
Well,
of course.
I guess I'm going to venture out and go on a plane and stuff, and even a couple of my friends that were on the trip were like they traveled with their kids during the pandemic.
Right.
So here I am feeling like, well, this is a big thing for me, but it's so individualized in the sense that my friends were like, well, I've traveled a couple of times. They went on vacation with their family, stayed as their pod, even though when they went on the plane, they have a little bit of older kids, but they all understood wear the masks and everything. And they just to change the scenery. I mean, the pandemic was such a mental hustle, right? So they just wanted to change the scenery, even if they just stayed within their own family pod. It was a way to like just go for it. So I kind of did two at once individually, but
no, for
here
sure.
we are.
It's time to. You got to pick a time to do it, and it's important. We got to figure out the best way to do it.
Yeah. But it worked out fine. I didn't feel too nervous at any points, and if there was ever a moment where I thought, there's a lot of people here, I just put the mask back on, and we just managed it like that. But all my buddies were cool with it. Most of them have kids as well, so we were all kind of concerned about the same things, losing money on football and staying healthy and safe.
Exactly. I didn't have a terribly well. I had something. All right, so
there's always something little, right? But not a banger. You didn't have a banger.
I posted about this.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm so excited about this. Just moving forward.
All right. So here's the thing. I posted about this, but now I can paint the picture because it's a podcast. And I'm not confined to an algorithm's set time limit.
Oh, whoa. Me and TikTok under the bus here.
Refill your coffees. It's time we talk about it. So I don't know why. It's a bad business model, but my daughter's school, she goes to public school just down the street, which is so insanely convenient. You just walk there because my wife and I, we only have one car, and I know eventually she will go back to work, and this is a convenience because I can still take the kids to school.
Sure.
Actually, she can still take the kids to school with me because it starts before she works. But either way, it's like if I have to do something for the school to volunteer, the car is not important. So they have PTA meetings right after drop-off. I don't know why.
Horrible time.
I think they just don't want anyone to show up is the idea. They were like, oh, God, someone showed up again?
Yeah. Either that or they know the people that are like stay-at-home parents are like, well, they got nothing to do. They'll be here.
Well, yeah. So luckily, it's before my wife starts work, so she was able to watch our youngest, who's not in school, and my daughter drop her off. So I go to the PTA meeting. And
is this the first one of the year?
No, this is the second one.
But you thought, you know what?
I went to the first one too. I went to the first.
Oh, you did, okay. But
I
still love that. I love that. We certainly represent ourselves as dads are staying involved. So you gotta stay involved, man. You gotta get in the mix. Get
I have
yourself
no
in there.
reason not to go. So
yeah. Trust me, I scoured for a reason.
I tried to break things in my house. I was like, I gotta work on that today.
Yeah, I tried to break my finger. Maybe that would be an excuse.
Drilled holes in the wall from the outside, and
there's a draft. I can't go.
Contractor says, "Why did you do this? It's gonna be a lot of money. You cracked the foundation." Anyway, so I go to the PTA meeting again, like you said. Like you asked me, I've gone before, so I go in there, and it's the same situation. It's the PTA president, the principal, who is a go-getter, which is already a red flag, and a bunch of established, mostly grandmas, couple parents.
Grandma that brought the kids to work, brought the kids to school because the parents work.
Are
and
working.
Then,
so
sure, I'll volunteer. What am I gonna do?
So I go and we sit down, and
Price is Right's already over.
I was like, all right, I know that I'm going to fill these Halloween bags for the kids because we're gonna give every kid in school a bag of candy because some kids, maybe their parents are too scared, immunocompromised.
Yeah,
like so many reasons maybe they don't go trick-or-treating this year.
A little treat for Hallows Eve. Very nice.
So I was like, cool, we're going to fill bags. Let's do this. I go there
I can do that. I can put candy in a bag. I can volunteer to do that.
I am grunt work force is what I am.
I'm blue collar certified.
I mean, just head down. I could do at least 4 bags at once. 5, maybe. But let's do 4. Let's go. So we go and sit down, and now we're talking. And I'm like, all right, this is a bad sign. I didn't sign up for
Where's
talking.
the bags?
I thought, where's the bags? So they're chit-chatting. We're catching up on events and this and that. And I think about chiming in, but I was like, that's just going to make this longer.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just keep going.
Yeah. This is a 15-minute meeting at most, and here we are 45 minutes deep. I don't know what's happening.
You know when somebody says something and you go, actually, the way to... Achoo! Sorry, I just sneezed. I had nothing to add.
Clearly something is outlined, the process of something. And you're thinking like, well, that's
inefficient
at best. I think I have a...
what are you doing?
Nothing. I was just going to ask if where's the candy.
Exactly. So I was like, all right, we're getting through it. Let's get to the candies. And then the principal was like, all right, so we have to vote on the vice president of the... We have to pick a vice president for the PTA and a secretary of the PTA. And I went, oh, no. I immediately got warm. Just like this, like, you should volunteer.
Why did I wear a sweatshirt here?
10,000% don't want to volunteer. Sweatshirt. I felt like I was wearing a pelt.
Parka.
I was so nervous and uncomfortable. And then they kept saying
here I am about to be involved.
Over again. They said, we had to pick, we got to pick, we got to pick. And I was like...
They said it over and over again.
Said at least
well, everyone was staring at me
3 times. And then the principal goes... But you volunteered, pointed to 2 women and said, but you 2 volunteered, right? You volunteered for VP and you volunteered for secretary, right? Am I right in saying that? I'm not trying to put you... You did. Okay, great. Okay, we have to vote on it. I know it's not official. We have to vote. It's how it works. So we all voted, of course, unanimous. And then secretary, unanimous. And I was like, whew. This is so
freebie.
Again, for a recap, real quick, they said we need to pick VP and secretary before we move on. Then we did it, smashed the gavel, which I thought was a bit much, and then said, anybody else? And I was immediately confused. I said, I don't know what that means. We've already picked the 2 things, and we voted on them, so it's not like anybody else want to run. It's too late. The vote's done. Like, too late to run.
Anybody else what?
And then the president makes eye contact. No, not the president. Sorry. The principal makes eye contact with me, pops the eyebrows up, points at me, and goes, you? And, of course, because I am, 1... involved, and 2, a coward, I said, yes, absolutely, I do.
Whatever you need.
Of course, yes, I want to. And she said, great. So which position would you like to volunteer for? Which I thought was mean, because I feel like I give off the vibes of some college. And I feel like what you see is kind of what you get with me. And I'm not. There's no. You don't look at me and go, "Ooh, we got Harvard." Like nobody thinks that. We think.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
good.
you weren't taking notes, so it's
We
already a
think-
giveaway there.
yeah,
Of
like, he
like,
could-
I'm just lost in the moment of I need to get out of here.
I think this guy knows how to efficiently pack 8 30-packs of beer on a hand truck, like, which is my first job, and I did, and I do.
This guy must be a bartender.
Yeah.
He can be in charge of the
There's
social hour.
So when she said that, I thought it was a bit gaslighting. I don't know. So I just said,
Did it feel like a teacher was calling on you,
Yes.
knowing that you weren't paying attention?
kind of, yes, I was paying attention, but yes, it did.
But still,
It felt like I wasn't.
I was paying attention,
It's-
even though I didn't know what she was asking me of.
Suddenly felt like, great, I have no idea. So she said, great, what do you want to run for? Or whatever. What do you want to volunteer for? None of it matters. And I just went, this was one of those moments where I went, well, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Sure.
And I just went, the board of the PTA, which was, well, we were already,
It's already where you were.
that was a category we were already in. So I'm not wrong.
Yeah, not wrong, but
Definitely not right.
yeah, but an embarrassing answer at the same
But I just
time.
want the board of the, I want the board of the PTA, probably the whole thing. I don't know.
the board.
Can I take-
Can I be the board?
Can I be the board? I'll plank. Is that still a thing? Or planking? Is that, are we still doing that?
Yeah, because it feels like I'm walking the plank now. Actually,
And she looked at me and she
why are you
made,
pointing a pistol at me? What's happening?
here's the thing. I like the principal. I think she's really delightful. She's
Mhm.
brand new. Not that it matters for me because I'm brand new to the school, but she's brand new and she's very smart. But these two moments made me think she's either gaslighting or she's not smart. And she said, she goes, "I think you'll be great as a fundraising chair." And I went,
The fundraising
the
chair.
fundraising chair.
Yeah, she could just see it all over your face.
Yeah, and I was like,
This guy knows how to collect cash.
What does that mean? Does it? I have to do all of it, like all of it, or are we all a team? Are these other people like? What does that mean? I don't know.
What does the
Fine.
chair look like? Is it?
All in favor, unanimous vote, won the whole thing. Like it was a blowout. I mean, crushed it. Honestly, no campaign strategy. Just kind of applied on the day.
Everybody was so intimidated they couldn't even contest it,
Write-in vote. I was a write-in vote, and I won.
even though they didn't even know your name. That guy,
No.
and they said arrows.
I did say my last name was LaFerrier, and the principal wrote it down and didn't ask me questions, which is again a red flag. Like nobody.
flag,
Every
yeah.
time I get a call, the best part about having a long and ridiculous last name is you know if it's a friend or foe immediately.
For sure.
Can I speak to Mr. LaFerry? Hang up immediately.
Mr.
It's over.
Mr. Ferry.
Yeah.
Mr.
Why'd you get rid of the la?
Kevin L.
So, all right. I don't want to go too long on this, but I was like, all right, fine, on the fundraising chair. Here we go. And then we got the bags donate, which was like, this is my wheelhouse.
Finally, we got to the candy bag.
Started crushing the bags, and I was killing it. I was doing a great job. I reminded everybody, hey, there's a lot of chocolate over here. There's a lot of gummies over here. Let's make sure we do an even amount. I did a
Okay,
great job.
well, you're the fundraiser, okay? You're not the bag organizer.
I thought I
You
was
should have ran for that position.
fund. I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
I thought it
fundraiser.
was a fundraiser. So I want to make sure the kids have fun bags. What's a fund?
And we're having fun here now.
Like a
Are we
fun-
having fun right now?
Like a nonprofit. So the weird thing was that when I went to pick up, I saw the president of the PTA, and she was like, "Hello, Mr. Chairman," and I was like, "That's not funny." Unless I get a mug or a desk. Do I have do I get a
name
plaque?
tag, like anything?
I asked her for a plaque. I did actually ask her,
Could I have a sticker to
Do I
put
get a
on my
plaque?
door or something?
and then she gave me heartbreaking news. She said, kind of the worst thing. I wasn't I was thinking, I go to the PTA meetings, you guys tell me this, and I got to call McDonald's and ask if we can do like let's all go to McDonald's on Thursday and they'll go to the school.
Yeah, and like 1% of the donations go to my kids' school.
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping that would be it.
Yeah.
And I got to pick up, and the president of the PTA said, so the principal is going to be in touch. You guys are going to be in touch quite a bit, working out fundraising stuff. I was like, this sucks.
Instantly sweating.
I'm back in school.
You're
Do you know why I have some college? It's 'cause I quit. I quit school. I said, this is as far as I want to go.
Yeah, mentally, I'm at capacity here.
And
So I think I
now-
got to bow out.
Here I am
Now here you are.
trying to figure out how to raise money.
Please send your suggestions
Stay
to
posted.
dumbdadpod@gmail.com.
Oh yeah, let's use this platform, guys. What are some good fundraising, COVID safe? That's
whoa, at the car wash. No?
no, not the way I do a car wash. I mean, we're talking Daisy Dukes.
Nobody cares about a car wash. How about a car vacuum out?
Oh, that'd be nice.
Right? Boy, I bet you could rake some cash in that way, specifically just like finding money in people's cars.
We'll call it the Cheery Goes, like to get rid of the Cheerios. See, I'm not good at this. I'm not going to be a good fundraising chair.
I like the idea. It's like, hello, Chairman. Here's your hours. Oh, you were late today. You need to be here 40 hours a week. I have a schedule now?
Can I do egregious things like politicians do? Like take ridiculous trips and have
or leave of absence.
have the taxpayers pay for it or something?
It's great. I think we were talking about this today. I know we were kind of joking about this after your post, and you were telling me the story about this. I mean, I think it's fantastic you volunteer for something even though you didn't even realize you were volunteering or what you were volunteering for.
Yes, I did say yes. It was under duress, but I did say
Yeah, pressure-packed moment, and you buckled. But I think it's also important to, here's the thing.
I am happy to help. I am happy.
I know. I mean, and I think that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to give you credit for doing that because I think that's important. And we were kind of joking earlier today. Is like we should be involved, and it's the feeling of like, when you go to the as being a stay-at-home dad, right? You're sort of the, no pun intended, odd man out. You take your kid, or your infant or your baby or your little kid to like the story time at the local library. It's like you and 30 moms. I mean, it's just how it is. Right. It's just because of stereotypically how this all goes. You're the dad, and there's a bunch of moms. And it's like, oh, here I am. But I think there's something to be said about that, and there's some importance in that, as the guy that's like, I just want to disappear right now because it's all these moms, and don't coast. You can't coast.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's forge ahead and think of ways we can help. I mean, I've been constantly thinking of ways in my kids' school. What way can I use my skills to help? Is there? They said there's like a beautification part of the school where we need help planting or painting or working on art project something. And I thought that was why I perked up and thought that's definitely something I can do.
Sure.
Because it's your kid is also going to appreciate the fact that you're involved in the school. That
right.
you're involved in the school in the way that you wish they would be involved in the school. So there's something to be said about that. It's funny how it happened. That's, I think, the funny part of the story is like, here you're like, I'm going to be involved. I'm going to go to the PTA meeting. And you come home and he's like, oh, okay, so I have keys to the school now, an hourly schedule. Like, I thought, what? I thought you were just going to go to the PTA
I'm in charge
meeting.
of petty cash. I don't know what that means.
I don't even know what that means.
Why is
Why
is it petty?
They seemed quite petty when they asked me. But it's important. It's important. Be involved in your kid's school, even if it's the smallest thing, even if it's for one event. Right?
That was the goal.
Yeah, your goal
That
was
was
one
the
event,
goal.
and here now it's like you're in charge of whether your
Reaches
children's
its
school
goal.
fails and goes bankrupt or not.
It's fine.
Hey, man, congrats to you. I mean, I'm sure this is probably the only time we'll talk about it because there's going to be no content involved with. That's a joke. There's going to be a lot coming forward. You're going to be. It's going to be a lot of angles.
Sarcasm much?
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, let's move
bilingual.
on. Let's move on. We got another dumb mom moment I want to read. I like reading these.
We have a user submission?
We got a user submission. You guys can read. You guys can submit. You can email us, dumbdadpod@gmail.com, or you can just DM us on the Instagrams. So we love to read these. We don't read all.
You can physically mail us a handwritten letter. The address to our P.O. box is in our bios and our popular social media pages.
If you do that, we will 100% read it. That's a guarantee. We're gonna do it on the
100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
If it's a handwritten letter, are you kidding me? Of course I'll read it.
Unless it's like
Like
magazine letters
newspaper
glued
letters.
together. I'm not going to read that. Well, I'll read it. I just won't read it on the podcast. Definitely read it with gloves and stuff and like a black light. Anyway, here's a dumb mom submission from Andrea from Tennessee. Thank you for the submission.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Here we go. Hey, dumb dads, Kevin and Evan. Here is my dumb mom moment. At the eye doctor with my 2-year-old this morning and immediately knew she needed a diaper change. We go to the bathroom. Which
I
is
could say immediately knew she needed glasses.
that'd be amazing. Just
Immediately diaper change.
squarely walked into the door frame. We're like, we don't need to spend the
Yeah.
copay. We're just going to get them.
Give me the goggles. Let's go.
So she says, immediately knew needed a diaper change, which
Yeah.
is, I know that when you walk in and go,
Oh, yeah.
come on.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even been here for 5 minutes.
It's the worst. My son doesn't wear diapers anymore. I put him in diaper for bedtime. Yet last night, filled it twice before we put him in his bed.
Well, he's a go-getter.
Go get another diaper because I filled this one.
Boom, toasted.
So she says, we go to the bathroom and immediately discover I forgot to throw in a new diaper in my bag.
Ay.
Whoops. Luckily, it was just one single tiny nugget. I scrapped it up, tossed the disposable wipe in the toilet, finished up washing and redressed her, and went to her appointment.
Put the diaper back on.
Yeah.
Just reapplied the
sounds
diaper.
like she didn't even take it off. Sounds like she just kind of like pulled out the back and was like,
Yeah, shake it out the pant
get
leg and
this
move on.
acorn out of here and let's keep going. Soldier on. My toddler is usually very fussy when changing her diaper, but this time she was just giggling. I felt like a real idiot. Rest assured, from now on, there will be at least 2 emergency diapers in my mom bag. The baby diaper bag. Wait. Reset that. Rest assured, from now on, there will be at least 2 emergency diapers in my mom bag. The baby diaper bag for her sister, and extra diapers in the car. Love you guys. You make me feel like I am not alone with this crazy struggles of stay-at-home parents and keep me laughing. We will, Andrea. Thank you for the submission.
Thank you, Andrea, for the submission.
Here's a
Been
little-
there, done that.
Oh, yeah.
Feel that super hard.
Oh, yeah.
Probably even feel that super hard in a even more, and I don't want to compare, but a more difficult situation when it's like I'm not even anywhere near the decision I need to make whether or not I have an extra diaper. It's like, when you're buried at the furthest point of the zoo and your kid messes up their diaper and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what to do now. I think I
You
need
go
to use
home.
my shirt or something. You just go home. You just
go
give
home.
up.
You
Yeah.
give home. The animals will be there tomorrow. My son, this wasn't a dumb dad moment, but my son this week, I don't know if he was fighting something. He never got sick or anything, but I'll just get to it.
I've seen your son. He's fighting something. It's called gravity.
Oh, he's so bad at it, but he'll get there. Give him what is happening? But we went to the playground and he wet himself, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh man, I didn't bring a change of clothes.
What are you, 2 years old? What's going on?
I know, 2.5. He's still going to the bathroom in his pants. Like, come on, man. So I was like, oh man, I didn't bring a change of clothes. Then
Yeah.
I bring him to the back of the car. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
He did them both. He's never done that in public since he's been in underwear. It almost seemed like a sickness move. Like he's like, well, one's happening and they're both happening.
Yeah.
But luckily,
We're just going to submit to it.
this dumb dad is also a lazy dad, and he packs a small backpack, not the diaper bag, 'cause I don't need a full diaper bag anymore. I pack like a small little backpack.
Yeah.
And I put snacks in there, and I put wipes, and I put a change of clothes in there for him.
Okay.
And it's usually for the zoo. So throughout the zoo trip,
Yeah, because it's
he
a
eats-
trek at the
yeah.
zoo. Yeah.
So throughout the zoo, he eats all the snacks, leaving nothing but clothes. So when we get home, I just I know it's there, but I just don't take the bag. And when that moment happened at the playground, went there, guess what was waiting for me? Salvation. But I will say I do have a little bit of a personal kind of a pro tip, because the in my opinion, I'm not giving, this is just my thoughts. Having emergency diapers in the diaper bag personally isn't an emergency diaper, because it's just a diaper in the diaper bag. Me personally, where I keep my emergency diapers are either in the back of the seat, like your seat, the driver's seat or the passenger seat,
Yeah.
or in the glove box.
Yep.
put one there to keep up to date on the numbers. Which diaper are they on? But it's important to do that because when you're out of options, you do have a diaper that you don't ever come close to touching, because you will have the moments where you go, oh, we're out. I'll get that emergency diaper from the bag, but it's just a diaper. But when you're desperate, you'll remember that diaper. Just remember to refill it.
I was going to say, before we wrap this up, I want to say that I think that's such an important point. Keep a diaper almost like where you, like, it's like keeping
Where
the
you
key
don't
under
want
the rock
Yes.
in your garden,
You
right?
would never have it.
But the funny thing is, and what you got to keep aware of is, like, you know, you're keeping it there for that one moment where you're so stuck. The extra diaper you brought has been used.
Yeah.
Right? So you're already like, oh man, I think I'm stuck here. And now I'm in this super emergency. I'm in a blowout situation. I need this, this, and this. I put a diaper in the glove box. That's right. But here's the problem. Here's the thing that I want to go over. How do you manage? Because how far can you plan ahead? I don't even know the route I'm taking home
All right.
from your house right now. So how do you plan so far ahead as to remember
To refill it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you.
Not only refill it. I don't think it's actually a refill it thing.
Uh-huh.
I think it's easier to use the emergency diaper and then even in that moment realize I'm in an emergency right now. I need to refill the diaper. The
But
problem is refilling or remembering that you have special locations like that for diapers in emergency situations. And my prime example would be you're in a situation where you use the backup diaper.
Uh-huh.
Now you're pivoting to your emergency situation.
Right.
And your child that's in size 3 diapers, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I have one in the glove box or my emergency situation area. It's like a 12-month diaper because you haven't run into that situation until 2 years later, and you do have a diaper in an emergency situation, but it's 2 sizes too small because you didn't think, oh, you know what I really need to be doing is also cycling those through the current size.
Okay, so I heard how to handle this. Well, it doesn't answer your question because it's just got to be like, just get on top of it. I will say,
I know. Well,
I will say
I know that
a trick
I know
to
my
refill. I will say a trick to refill the emergency diaper. I learned actually. This is weird. I learned this trick kind of from bartending. So it has nothing to do with children. But I remember when I bartended. When I bartended, I sometimes, very rarely, I would go to the grocery store to like get milk for the kids. Like when I had kids.
Sure.
And bartending, I would go to the grocery store, get milk, and then I would put it in the beer cooler, and I had forgotten it. So a trick I had learned is take something that you can't leave the bar without.
Like your keys?
My keys. So I put my keys in there. So I would say the trick would be, if you use the emergency diaper in your glove box, chuck your wallet in there, chuck your phone in there. Like something that when you get home, you're like, where is this thing?
And then you spend 2.5 hours looking for it.
But when you find it, you refill the diaper. I don't know what to do with that, but I do remember listening to a podcast.
It's like, here's what you do. You go to the zoo. Before you get out of the car, make sure you throw your keys in the glove box, lock them in the car. And then when AAA gets there and they shatter your window to get your keys out of your car, you're like, oh, I need to replace that diaper.
And they say, you have a 1-year-old? No, why? We have a 12-month diaper in here.
Oh, my 1-year-old's by the Tigers.
But thank you for that submission. We really appreciate it. Guys, write into us with more submissions.
dumbdadpod@gmail.com. DM us on Instagram. Or again, find the address in our bio, handwrite a letter. We will read it.
We'll read it. Again, unless it's creepy.
Kev?
I will say that Brady Lots, B_LOTZ on Instagram, has been a follower of ours. We appreciate you.
OG.
Yeah,
That's
OG.
an OG right there.
Been writing to us for a while
Mhm.
and sent us a joke from, I will say it's not his joke, it's from at Dad Says Jokes on Instagram. And I thought, well, why not?
Why the hell not? Give it to me straight, Doc.
Good Lord.
Come on, you're a professional, Kev. Read it out loud.
Why did the dad joke cross the road?
Why did the dad joke cross the road? Tell me why.
To get to the other side.
Oh.
See? I guess it got there.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
Thanks for listening, guys. Follow us at Dumb Dad Pod on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Thanks to Dumb Dad at Verdú for the beats. That's right. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.